Is this CFI a scammer? There's a Reddit post out there. It's hilarious. I thought I'd take some time to read through the posts and all the comments and respond to them and try to debunk a lot of these common myths and false beliefs that we've got going on in here. A lot of these are just plain up rude. I'm not holding anything against these people. There are some people that are very supportive and very friendly, very helpful, very kind. We appreciate those guys. So if you're one of those guys, I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and get right into this and read what these people are saying. I'm going to leave a link to this post in the description below, so you be sure to check that out and read along with us. Now, I will say this is Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt. And I'm not taking any of this personal. I understand people may not understand exactly what I do and why I do it, but this is Reddit. We're just going to get right into this. This post was posted 15 days ago by Fantastic Lie 2954. Is this CFI a scammer? I've come across a CFI on Instagram, I am Toby Rice, who claims how he earns over $10,000 a month as a part-time instructor. I know everyone on Instagram claims whatever to promote their marketing course to sell, and Insta followers can be bought. However, he wasn't necessarily promoting some course/get-rich-quick scheme for other CFIs. So now I'm thinking maybe this guy does specialized training like an instructor for a specific aircraft type or aerobatic training. I don't know something that allows you to charge over $100 per hour. However, once I went to his website, it became clear. This guy just overcharging the crap out of people. He has an all-day AQP flight review listed at $1,000, and that's not including the plane. It's obviously not AQP, so he's just telling blatant lies. Secondly, he charges $350 for a discovery flight, which includes only a 30-minute flight and 1.5 hours of ground. Now, where am I going with all this? I currently work at a legacy airline, but when I started my flight training, I was broke, grew up on food stamps and housing broke. And being a broke flight student is nothing new, as I'm sure you all know. However, it's not just what he charges. Everything he promotes feels like some grind set BS where he calls students clients and it comes off as all money motivated. I understand being a CFI is hard and they should probably make more. But how many of us professional pilots would be where we are today if it wasn't for a selfless CFI helping us out? When I was a CFI, I never charged ground, and I have no problem with people who do. But it's just the idea that your primary goal should be to help your student, not maximizing your profits. I don't know. I could be wrong. Check out his profile and webpage. Maybe I'm misjudging. Just makes me sad to see this in aviation. Think some young kid who wants to fly getting screwed out of their money. I appreciate your post, and I appreciate you admitting that you might have possibly misjudged me. Let's just start from the top here. How I earn over $10,000 a month as a part-time instructor. That's really easy. Just niche down and find people that are willing to pay you what you want. I market myself to wealthy aircraft owners who have a mission of finding the best CFI for the best training customized to them in their airplane. Usually it's a brand new or completely refurbished airplane. I'm flying a lot of Bonanzas, Cherokee 6s, Barons, Saratogas, those types of things. Charging these guys $10,000, $20,000 for a private in their airplane just for the instruction. Do a couple of those a month, maybe even just one per month, and you're able to easily get that $10,000 per month. So for me, it takes about 3 months to get someone through a private pilot certificate or an instrument rating in their airplane at their pace, completely custom to them. Of course, I say $10,000 to $20,000. It completely depends on the client, how much you charge, and how you get that. If I charge $15,000 for a private pilot certificate in an owner's airplane, some guy just went out and bought a brand new 206 or something and wants a private. It takes me 3 months to get them done. That's $5,000 a month. So if I take on 2 students, that's going to be $10,000 a month. Just basic, simple math. You can see how I do that. And I do this kind of stuff all the time. Now, that's just part-time as an instructor. That's not including my online businesses and flying corporate and the fact that I have a flight school. I have my own airplane and teach people to fly as they walk in. But my main niche in my flight school is actually training instructors. So I do CFI initial training and CFI add-on training. I do the ground over Zoom and YouTube lessons, and then bring the CFI applicants here for the actual flight portion of the training if they choose to do the flying portion of the training with me. But moving on to the rest of this post. He says here, I know everyone on Instagram claims whatever to promote their marketing course to sell, and Insta followers can be bought. This is true. You can buy Instagram followers. I did not buy any of my followers. All my followers came from organic or ads. I just post good stuff. People like it. They follow me. Great. That's the only way I've gotten followers. As far as a marketing course, this isn't so much a marketing course. I help independent CFIs start and scale their businesses from working hourly, not making anything as a CFI, to making $10,000 a month or more working part-time. That's based on about 3 hours a day, 3 to 4 days per week of training. Let's say it's 3 and 3. That's going to be 9 hours a week per client of training. So 18 hours a week for $10,000 a month is what that comes out to. It says here, he wasn't necessarily promoting some sort of course or get rich quick scheme, which is true. I'm not. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a grind, get stuff done, make it happen. It's really all mindset, but keeping on with that, he says, so I'm thinking that maybe this guy does specialized training, which is true. Yes, absolutely. You must find a niche. There's riches in the niches, as they say. So you want to find the niche, find an audience within that niche, and talk to those people, help them solve their problems. And you can watch my other videos to learn more about this. One thing he says is, I don't know something that allows you to charge over $100 per hour. My response to that is yes, because you shouldn't be charging hourly in the first place. If you're charging hourly, no one's going to trust you. You're going to get ripped off for being good, and the student's ripped off for being bad. So if the student takes longer, they pay more money, which they obviously don't like. So just keep that in consideration. So he went to my website and said, in his own words, this guy is just overcharging the crap out of people. Really. He has an all-day AQP flight review listed at $1,000. That's not including the plane. That's true. I do. It's obviously not AQP, so he's just telling blatant lies. This is where my first real problem with this post comes in, is right here, that he's just telling blatant lies. So I don't get very angry about things. I'm typically a very non-angry type of person. However, I will say that when people question my integrity, it really hurts my feelings, because I work really hard to be a very trustworthy, honest person that does things intentionally with integrity. So when someone accuses me of lying, I don't appreciate that very much. That being said, I understand some people might not know what they're talking about, and they might not be fully aware, and that's totally fine. And I'm willing to talk about these things. I'm not going to shut this all down right now because someone called me a liar. I'm an adult. We'll talk about it and work through things. But I will say that this is simply ignorance in this moment, because AQP is an airline term under Part 121 that's called Advanced Qualification Program. Basically, it's a training program invented by the airlines and approved by the FAA to take the place of check rides and training. So instead of going to your training course and taking an FAA, PTS, or ACS check ride at the end of your course, you go through the AQP program. It gives you scenario-based training that's built around what the real-world accident reports are telling us are killing people, and then designing their course around that and training airline pilots from it. The AQP, Advanced Qualification Program concept that I use in a flight review is simply a 44-page PDF written by Dan Greider, published by Aviation 101 Josh Flowers, found on his website, which is in the link below, that has an entire list of all the accident areas that are killing pilots in general aviation. We have an entire day dedicated to flying and studying and learning about these things. It counts towards your 1 hour of ground and your 1 hour flight required for an FAA flight review. And it covers so much more than just stalls, steep turns, and slow flight. It's covering emergencies, things that actually happen to people, things that have actually killed people in the past, and training to prevent those things from happening in the first place. To say that's blatant lies, I'm not sure where he's getting that. And $1,000 for that is not unreasonable. I'm a master flight instructor. I've got thousands of hours of flight time, over 100 different makes and models of types that I've flown. And if I want to charge $1,000 a day, I can charge $1,000 a day. And the reality is that people will pay it. There are people that value the kind of training that I'm giving, and they're valuing working with someone like me that's dedicated to their safety and to them reaching their goals in the way that they specifically want. It's simply value-based pricing. And for the record, there are a lot of Cirrus instructors, for example, that charge well over $1,000 a day for training. So $1,000 a day, that's just my rate for single engine pistons. If you don't want to pay, that's totally fine. He says here that I charge $350 for a discovery flight, which includes only 30-minute flight and an hour and a half on the ground. That's true. The purpose of this flight is to get a sense of, do they really want to do this? It's not supposed to be a full-on flight lesson. It's supposed to be mostly sitting on the ground, figuring out what do they want to do with their career in aviation? And we just break it down and see what they need and then go up and fly. There's no stress, no strings attached. It's just, let's go up. I'll show you some flight control stuff. I'll let you fly around to see how it feels. You can fly as much or as little as you want and see if you want to work with me. That's it. So I value that at $350. And if you want to go somewhere else that's cheaper, that's totally fine, completely up to you. But I charge $350 for that. So he goes on and talks about how he's working at an airline right now and he was broke. And I completely understand that's the case of most pilots. He says, as being a broke flight student, it's nothing new. However, he was saying it's not just what he charges. Talking about me, he's saying everything he promotes feels like some sort of grind set where he calls students clients and comes off as money motivated. I will address this briefly. My mission in aviation is to keep my fellow pilot that is made in the image of God alive. I borrow that quote from Ed Wishmayer out of his article called E3 Expanded Envelope Exercises, found in one of the NAFI mentor magazines, which I read quite frequently. So it's a great article by Ed Wishmayer. For me to do that, I could just go train a pilot. No problem. The problem, though, is that if I train one pilot and make them great, I've only made one great pilot. So how do I make more great pilots? Easy. I train great instructors. So if I can make one great instructor, then I've made at least a dozen great pilots from doing that once that instructor goes on and begins to teach. However, instructors are getting paid hourly and they're getting paid pennies on the dollar. Outside of ethical reasons, of course, there is no reason to be good as a flight instructor financially. If you work quickly and efficiently and get the job done right the first time, you're getting paid less money. If it takes a novice CFI 100 hours of dual to get someone a private, but it takes an experienced CFI 50 hours of dual to get someone a private, the inexperienced CFI was paid for more hours, and the experienced CFI was paid for less hours. Now, you could say the experienced CFI could just raise his rate. Sure, that's possible. You can make a little bit more money doing that, but you're still getting ripped off for being good. Every hour that you work less is less money that you make, regardless of what you're charging. So to be very quick in this, the solution is very simple for me. If I can teach instructors how to make money, those instructors will want to be good. They'll charge based off of value, not based on time, which allows them to focus on being good. They're getting paid $10,000 for a private pilot certificate or $15,000 for an instrument rating or whatever it is. You can charge whatever you want here. But at the end of the day, if they're charging a flat rate for training, they're only getting paid that much regardless of how much time is spent. So how about they, now that they're getting paid flat rates, focus on being good and getting things done right the first time, spending less time in the airplane, less time with the student, focus on getting them results the first time. That way the student can be done quicker and the instructor still gets paid the same amount of money. And in fact, if you get paid a flat rate and work less hours, you make more dollars per hour. Moving forward, he continues to say that he understands being a CFI is hard and they should probably make more money, which I agree with. But he says how many professional pilots wouldn't be where they are today if it wasn't for selfless CFIs helping us out. I agree with this to the point that it is important for us to be selfless as CFIs and help people out. There are a lot of people who can't afford to fly. There are a lot of people who have problems and they just need help with things. And that's totally fine. And we should be helping people out. He says, when I was a CFI, I never charged for ground. I have a problem with that. If you don't value your time and you don't value the work that you're doing, the result that you're giving, then no one else is going to value you either. Not charging for ground as a flight instructor is setting yourself up for failure. They're not going to value what you say. It's that simple. If they don't value what you say without the airplane, then what makes you think they're going to value what you say in the airplane? But you have to definitely charge for ground. In fact, whenever I train someone for a rating, I charge a flat rate for unlimited flight time, unlimited ground time, unlimited use to my simulator, and a certain number of hours in the airplane. Typically, they provide their own airplanes, but I do have my own airplane that I use for flight training. I charge for the ground because the ground is the most important part. We spend more time in ground than we do in the actual airplane, but they're getting better results in the airplane because we're spending more time nailing stuff down before it becomes a problem. So you definitely should be charging for your ground as a flight instructor. Now, he says he has no problem with people who do, which is good. He says it's just the idea that your primary goal should be to help your student, not maximizing your profits. This is a fallacy, but let me explain why. Should you be focusing on just maximizing profits? No, you shouldn't. Should you be focusing on just helping students? No, you shouldn't. You should be focusing on both. How can I help the most people possible while making the most money possible? How can I make this valuable to these people and make it valuable to me? Because you can't be in business if you're not making money. If you can't help yourself, it's going to be really hard to help other people. Now, people can say, oh, you should be selfless. And absolutely, you should be selfless. But I can't help you guys on the other end of the screen if I can't figure out how to get my own life together. Okay. So you can't really help someone unless you know how to do stuff and you can have yourself helped. If you haven't been fed, then how are you going to have the energy to go out and help people who also need food? It's philosophical, I understand, but it's important to realize you have to stay in business in order to have a business. Just keep that in mind. I have successfully been able to make a living while helping people and everybody's happy. So I don't think it's one or the other. They are not mutually exclusive. They can be together. The last thing this guy says, he says, I don't know, I could be wrong. I'll check out his profile. Maybe I'm misjudging. It just makes me sad to see this in aviation and to think about some young kid who wants to fly getting screwed out of their money. And I agree with that in this way. We don't want people to be ringed along for more dollars. Point is helping people, creating value, and asking for value in return. People buy whenever the value exceeds the price. So if the price that you're asking for is right there with the value that you're providing, they're probably not going to buy or be less inclined to buy. But if you can either drop the price or raise the value, that creates a gap that people will want to buy in. People buy in that gap. Now, if you want to be a bottom feeder, you can drop the price and raise to the bottom, right? You're going to get low quality clients and low quality work. You're not going to be paid very much. You're not going to get many results from people. You're just going to be a bottom feeder. You don't want to do that. So instead, what I do is I actually raise the price to reflect the value that I'm providing and pay me for the work that I'm doing. I raise the price and then skyrocket on the value. What I want to do is I want to make a value so high, people feel stupid for saying no to my offer. That's the way you want to do it, is race to the top on value, not to the bottom on price. Because then if you can master value, you can charge whatever you want and people will want to buy from you. He says, this just makes me sad to see this in aviation. What's going on that's wrong here? What I'm doing is I'm helping flight instructors make a living so that they can help more pilots. If we keep paying flight instructors pennies on the dollar and not giving them reason to be good, we're going to still have lousy pilots and we're still going to have unsafe, unfed, unpaid flight instructors. If you want something to change, you have to change something. So that's all I've got to say on that. Moving forward, let's check out some of these comments. He's either a crypto bro friend with buzzword-filled posts, definitely bought his followers. I don't think he's fooling too many people. Yeah, this guy just doesn't know. I did not buy my followers. I post content and they like it and they follow me. That's just it. This guy says, if a company did any sort of background check or social media check and I saw this, I'd trash his application. Why? What am I doing wrong here? I'm helping flight instructors make money so that they can help more pilots and stay flight instructors longer. That's something people don't understand, is that if flight instructors aren't paid, you're going to lose flight instructors. We need more excellent, high-level flight instructors. And if we keep paying them pennies and don't teach them how to actually make money and provide for themselves, they're going to go away to the airlines. And then we're going to have this continual cycle where flight instructors are coming in from the bottom, building up experience. And once they have just enough experience to be good, we kick them out the door. And this is not acceptable. That's just something we got to look at here. He says he went and clicked on 3 different videos, and I wouldn't want to spend a single overnight with this guy out of fear of him starting a conversation about this. Okay, I'll admit, I love talking about this stuff. So if I was on an overnight with this guy and he was receptive to it, I'd probably talk about it because it's very interesting to me. Entrepreneurship, business, helping people, flying, teaching aviation safety. I love this stuff. But hey, if you're not into it, you're not into it. It's a mindset thing. Not everybody has the mindset to actually go out, kick butt, take names, and make a business for yourself that works and helps people. He says here, you can make $10,000 a month as a part-time CFI. It looks like he's trying to pull out these buzzwords. Part-time CFI by creating value for your clients and networking. That's exactly what we're talking about, but I guess he just has a problem with buzzwords. I am trying to help people make at least $10,000 a month working part-time as a CFI by creating value for your clients and networking, finding people's pains, where they want to go, and fulfilling that gap for them, getting them from A to B. It's really simple. This guy here says, I think most people learning to fly with some common sense will be put off by someone gloating about how much they make. I don't gloat about how much I make. What I do is tell flight instructors from a business point of view, this is how much I'm able to make as a flight instructor while you guys over here are making pennies on the dollar. If you want to get to where you can do this, ask me for help. I will help you do that. Flight instructors aren't going to listen to me unless I can show them, hey, this is real. I am actually making this kind of money and you can do it too. I don't see the problem here. I'm working with people with a certain mindset. And if it puts you off, then that's fine. I don't really want to work with that. This guy says, I'm sick of seeing this acne scar Pee Wee Herman scammer on my feed every day. That's a little bit rude and personal, but this is Reddit, so it's what it is. I do have some acne scars, but that does not infringe on my character. So looking at some more replies here, somebody corrects him. It's funny. Beach Dude. Now this guy is VSL Aviation. This guy's actually a pilot examiner, Air Force veteran, C-130 pilot. I actually watch this guy's videos and really enjoy them. So this guy is someone who I do respect. Let's see what he has to say. Beach Dude says, I operate in a similar space as him and have worked hard creating useful content. All of his content seems to be geared towards you paying for his service. I skimmed through his feed and didn't find a single training video. Let me address this. When he says all of my content seems to be geared towards paying for his service, I'm not sure where you're getting that, because I may have said once, maybe twice in my 170 posts or something like that, that you can pay me for something. Most of it is just saying, hey, if you're a CFI who's struggling with this, here's a solution to your problem. Here's some mindset hacks, mindset tricks and tips. And if you think that's me trying to get you to buy something, take it how you like it. But the reality is that I'm trying to help CFIs understand business. Most CFIs don't. I'm not expecting everyone to understand what I'm doing. In fact, if everyone understood what I was doing, then none of this would be a problem in the first place, because people would be out there doing it. But they don't. So I get it. It's okay. I'm not mad at this guy. I still respect this guy and his content. I love it. And if you're watching this video, I love it. It's awesome. Please keep it up. It's very valuable. But yeah, my content is not geared towards you paying for a service. My content is geared towards helping you solve problems. In fact, if someone was to take all of my videos, bunch them all up and made it into some kind of course, you would actually learn a ton from it and use these tips and tricks to start your own business without hiring me for any kind of coaching or mentorship at all. The problem is you don't have me helping you specifically with the implementation. That's the thing. I give away all my information, all my secrets, if you will, for free on the internet. What you pay me for is to come in and help you specifically. I give away so much value for free and rarely ever ask for any in return. Now, if someone wants to get on a call with me and see about how I can help them in their business, at the end of that call, I'm going to say, if they're a good fit for me and I'm a good fit for them, for me to help you with your business, it's going to be this much. Here's the terms. Here's what I can do. Are you interested? What do you want to do? And then we can work from there if they're a good fit. And I've had many guys that I've worked with be very successful. I actually just had 2 of my clients last week bring in collectively, I think they brought in $30,000 in the past 4 days just from 2 clients. So it's definitely working for people. He says, I skimmed through his feed and didn't have a single training video. If you go through my feed, there's not many training videos. Most of my training videos are actually in the Reels section. So the stuff where I'm doing emergency takeoff briefings and those types of deals, that's going to be in the Reels. So if you're watching this, go to my Reels section for training videos, also YouTube Shorts. And if you want my entrepreneurship content, that's going to be in the feed. Now, he says, I don't doubt that you can make over 10K a month as an instructor, but you need to have a clearly defined niche, experience, credibility. Even then, it wouldn't be easy. This is true. If you want to be a flight instructor making $10,000 a month or more, you're going to have to find a niche. It's actually a huge part of my program is helping people find a niche that specifically works with them and their ideal audience. Let's say you don't have very much experience. Then it's going to be harder to make $10,000 per month because you're not going to have as much trust. The good news is this. If you are a flight instructor that does not have very much experience, but you want to be able to do the independent CFI thing and work for yourself and make $10,000 or more per month, without experience, you must have a mentor. That's just it. I didn't have a mentor when I started, and it took me 3 or more years to figure out what I was doing. I think it was like 3 to 4. Quite a while to figure out how do I make money? How do I be good? If I would have had a mentor helping me, guiding me along, saying, hey, this is what I would do in this situation. Hey, you should charge this to that guy. Hey, you should ask about this. You should go to this training course. You should do these things. That would have helped me significantly. But I didn't have that, and I had to figure it out myself. But when you don't have experience, you need to have a plan. And the plan can come from figuring things out or gleaning from someone else's experience. And of course, the more you fly, the more experience you have, the easier it will be to get to that level. And as far as credibility, absolutely, you must have credibility. But one thing about credibility is that it's a facet of trust, right? So credibility and trust are linked. You can build trust if you don't have credibility by doing 4 things. One is listening to people's pains and desires, understanding those pains, really understanding what's going on, empathizing and relating to them, and then offering them clear solutions that give them clarity. If you can do those 4 things, you're going to have people trust you, which is the same effect as credibility. Credibility, of course, helps. That's one of the reasons why I became a master instructor, was because I said to myself, I have a mission that I want to push out to people and I want to help people. I said to myself, I want to find a way to help more people and have more people listen to me. What's a good way to do that? Becoming a master instructor is fantastic marketing. So let's become a master instructor. And I was actually invited to apply for that. And I said, this is a good idea. Put all my stuff together, submitted the package, and we're good. Now, I did have to go collect the past 2 years of all my instructional activities, and it was quite an extensive list of things that I've done in the past 2 years to help me qualify for this. So it's not necessarily easy. You have to go back and figure out, did I actually involve myself in aviation and help people? And I did. So by doing that, I was able to use that as experience towards my master instructor accreditation. It was a very humbling experience to be awarded master instructor. But moving forward, the guy says, even then it wouldn't be easy. Easy is relative, right? Life is hard. It's hard to be broke and it's hard to make money. Choose your hard. He says, I've worked hard to get where I'm at and I've had to keep grinding. I'm always weary of folks who think that they have an easy method or this one trick. I agree with you. This is not easy. This is a grind. You're going to have to get stuff done and figure it out. I'm giving you tips to help you make it easier. So I'm not claiming at any point that this is some easy, oh, anybody can do it. No, because you can't. Okay. Some people can't do this. And that's my job to figure out, can they do it or can they not? And then can I help them? And if I can, I will. Let's see here. This guy here says, he literally made a PDF with every single piece of training he offers to CFIs. Shaking my head. Yeah, I did. In fact, I have a PDF that shows all the stuff that you need to do to be successful in this realm of business as an independent CFI. That's all things that I wish I would have known starting out that would have gotten me from where I was to where I am now in much less time. If you want this PDF, there's going to be a link to that in the description below. Moving forward here, this guy says a very cursory glance at his IG account suggests he only wants to talk about money and marketing. I'm like, yeah, CFIs aren't going to listen to me about how to make flying better unless I teach them how to make money, because I have a lot of really good tricks that will make you as a flight instructor really good. But the problem is that if they're better, they're spending less time in the airplane and making less money. I'm just saying, I've got 3,000-4,000 hours of flight time. Most of that's dual given. I've learned a few tricks. I'm not the most experienced pilot in the room, but I definitely can help an inexperienced CFI be better. So you listening to me without knowing how to make money punishes you for being good. Put that under your hat and see where it takes you. So I have to talk about that. And I do talk about flying in my Instagram. Turned off by his messaging. That's your opinion. I mean, you can do that if you want to. That is religious messaging. Don't tell me you're a Christian right out of the gate and then talk about how much money you make. This is a misconception, okay? I'm a Christian. I follow the Lord Jesus Christ from Nazareth, the Son of the living God. That's who I follow. And I'm not into this whole prosperity gospel thing. I don't believe that being a Christian means that you're going to be rich. That's not the thing. In fact, Jesus said that you're probably going to end up being poor and persecuted by following him. By no means do I think that me saying, oh, I'm a Christian is going to make me any kind of money or be used in my marketing. I'm telling this to people because I want people to know what I believe. If you're going to be working with me, you're going to be working with someone that has this mindset. It's also nothing wrong with me telling people how much money I make as a Christian. It makes zero difference. If you don't like it, you don't have to work with me. That's it. Guy says, are you familiar with prosperity gospels and multi-level marketers? I live in Utah, so that describes half the population. That's funny. Hey, shout out to guys in Utah. That's funny. Let's see. This guy says, this guy's content reeks of multi-level marketing, buzzword tactics. I can't run fast enough from this. All the religious stuff is part of the game. It's not, guys. Okay. I'm here to help entrepreneurs make a living. I want them to provide for their families. I want them to keep pilots alive. This is what I do. If you don't like the message, then you don't have to listen to it. But I will say that it's the same message. It's going to be consistent. And that's all I got to say on that. Making religion to make sales, huge red flag. That's not what I'm doing. I'm sorry if you feel that way. 2 more replies. I'm not anti-religious. Using sales, big red flag. I'm just saying what I believe. That's it. Yes, I watched 2 videos. He's full of it. I'm sorry you don't agree, but that's just not the case. This is interesting. This is someone that I apparently have talked to. He says he actually reached out to me in the DMs a few months ago. He flies citations and does independent instruction in people's airplanes. 10K a month isn't insane. Yes, his prices may seem insane, but that's what most of these guys are going to pay. Cool. A niche, yes. Not justifying, rather explaining how he may be making that much money. He later blocked me. Interesting. I don't think I blocked anybody, but he later blocked me. And after I said something on one of his posts, something about being an aviator versus a pilot, whatever that means. Yeah, I don't block anybody. I block people who are spammers. I don't remember blocking this guy. In fact, I remember having a conversation with a fellow about aviator versus pilot. And I remember disagreeing on something, I think is what it was, but I didn't block anybody. This guy says, marketer doing marketing things. His audience is CFIs who wants to make more money doing specialized instruction. Yep. Basically. But I think he'd be much more effective if he gave away a lot of his tips he's learned along the way for free to help out fellow CFIs in their finances and professional life. People gotta trust you and like you if they want to work with you. That's what I'm doing, actually. So I don't know why he thinks I'm not doing that, but that's actually what I'm doing. These are stories and lessons that I have learned. This is absolutely right. This guy says, I'm calling rage bait, just to mock the guy. It's funny. Ah, yes, the self-made man prepping to sell you a story on how to chase your dreams and lift you from the bootstraps. Never seen that before. I don't see a problem with that. A fool and his money are soon parted. I don't think my clients would appreciate you calling them the fool, especially the ones that I've helped make tens of thousands of dollars just in the past few weeks. So I don't think that's a very nice thing to say, but hey, to each his own. The use of the hashtag Master CFI, talk about an ego. Interesting. I'm sorry if you think that me posting that I'm a Master CFI bumps my ego up. It's not that I'm trying to boast. The intention is not to be egotistical. It's to be realistic and say, this is what you're getting. This guy here says, how is it a scam? As long as he's not lying or misrepresenting his services, he can charge whatever he likes. And customers can go elsewhere. CFIs should charge for their time, whether flight or ground training. Don't sell yourself short and don't undercut your fellow instructors. This guy's right, except on one thing. He says CFIs should charge for their time. That's not true. CFIs that charge for their time will always be ripped off for being good. The better you are, the less time you spend and the less money you're going to make. So instead of charging for your time, as a CFI, you should charge for results. Charge for the output. Charge for what they get out of the deal. If it takes you as a CFI 100 hours of work to get someone through a private pilot certificate, and that's flight time, ground time, lesson prepping, whatever, and you want to make $100 an hour, then charge $10,000 for the training. Easy. If you charge $10,000 for the training based on 100 hours of work, and it takes the guy 80 hours of work from you to get done, then you still made the same money. It wasn't like, oh, I spent 20 less hours, so I got 20 less hours of pay. No, it was still worth $10,000 for you to get this guy done. If it took him more time, you took the risk of charging a flat rate. But since you charge a flat rate, you can charge a higher number that covers your risk in case the other guy isn't very good. So I do not agree with selling your time for money as a CFI. Now, you can trade time for money. There's a difference. I still trade seconds, minutes, and hours of my day towards making money, but I do not have a specific number associated with a block of time. I say, I have this much time. I'm going to do as much as I can in this much time to be the most productive, so that I can spend more time at home, more time with my family, doing whatever I want to do. So don't sell your time for money as a CFI. This guy here says, I really cannot care less about what CFI charge their students. That's not the scam. It's his CFI course he's trying to sell for multiple four figures, claiming he can teach you to make an unrealistic amount of money as a CFI. He claims 10 to 30K per month as a part-time CFI, the lower end of that being only somewhat attainable for a lucky, experienced, full-time CFI in a high cost of living city with amazing weather and great connections. That's funny. Yeah, what you charge your students as a CFI is really nobody else's business. But when he's saying that I'm trying to sell this course for multiple four figures, claiming that I can teach you to make an unrealistic amount of money, you got a problem with that. Yeah, my course is multiple four figures. It's very valuable. The help that I give my clients is incredible. They are getting real results. My clients come from a wide variety of experience and time in the course, but the ones that have been in it long enough and the ones that have gotten those results have more times over paid for the cost of the training. And now they paid for it. It's done. They don't have to worry about it anymore. They just go and do the stuff, making money hand over fist, and it's great. It is definitely not unrealistic to make that kind of money. It is unrealistic, however, to make this kind of money as a CFI if you're charging hourly and you're not operating in a niche and you don't have a right mindset and you're not any good at it. So there are reasons why it could be unrealistic. And maybe for this person, that is unrealistic, but it depends on the person, depends on your mindset, depends on what you're trying to do. He claims 10 to 30K a month as a part-time CFI. I claim $10,000 per month as a part-time CFI from independent instructing. The 10 to 30K range is designed for all the other things you're doing as a part-time CFI. The whole purpose of me doing part-time CFI work is that it allows the CFIs that I'm working with to be able to have an independent instruction business while also flying corporate, having some kind of online course, video presence, YouTube channel that allows them to bring in more passive income. So when you add all these things together, you can get 10 and 30K a month easily. I have an online consulting business and a small flight school and independent instructing, and I fly citations around. I'm also a professional violinist and bluegrass fiddle player too. I can go make money in a variety of ways. But what I claim on here is if you want to make $10,000 per month extra as an independent CFI, working less than 30 hours a week, that's what I'm trying to get you here to. Now, you can make more than that. I work part-time. If I went full-time, I can make even more as an independent CFI, but I'd have to cut off on my other streams of income. And me personally, I like flying the jet 1 to 2 days a week while having time on my computer to work on my online businesses, while watching my flight school airplane fly and just make money, while only flying 10, 12 hours a week with my students in their airplanes as a CFI. The point of my messaging is if you're only an independent CFI, we can get you to at least an extra $120 a year. He says that's only obtainable for a lucky, experienced full-time CFI. That's not true. He says in a high cost of living city, that's not true. I live in the middle of nowhere. Nashville is about 50 miles that way, so close to Nashville, but not crazy. Most people haven't even heard of the city that I'm in. As far as amazing weather, we don't have that. Great connections? Absolutely. Part of being great as an independent CFI is being able to network and talk to people and make those connections that are able to get you those clients that you want to work with. This next guy here, Noel Alex, is saying he's offering free stuff with a hidden oath, leading people to pay for marketing courses. He's trying to get people to call him for a free consultation, which is almost certainly going to be a high pressure situation. This is dishonesty. So let's break this down. Free stuff with a hidden oath. There's no hidden oath. The stuff that I give out is free. You use it, you'll make money. I have a consulting program. It is a coaching program. It is not a course. It's where you work with me on Zoom calls to help you get your business going the way you want to go. There's nothing hidden about this. I give away all this free stuff. My free stuff is the marketing for my course. If you want to watch my free videos and work with them, use them. That's fine. I won't ask for a dime from you. But if you want to go to the next level and actually get it done right the first time, if you do make mistakes, learning from them together, then let's do it. I do calls with people that are interested in growing their business. If they want to grow their business with me, we'll hop on a call for free, figure out where they're at, see if I can help them, and I'll give them an offer, and that's it. It is not a high pressure situation. It's a question asking session. I ask a ton of questions. We figure out what's going on. Can I help you? And if it's the case, I give you an offer, and that's it. It's not dishonesty at all. This guy right here, the original poster, says, maybe scam isn't the right word, but still feels off. I instructed for some time, and I was probably too generous, but most of my students ended up being my friends afterwards. I never charged ground because I was never charged ground. Don't worry about me selling myself short. I made it out of the hood. Hey, works for you, works for you. But, and I do appreciate this guy not trying to throw me under the bus. If it feels off, it's probably because you're just not used to it, and that's fine. It works great for me and for my clients. It's not going to work for everybody. I don't want to be an airline pilot. I don't want that lifestyle. There's pros and cons to everything, right? I want this lifestyle. You want this lifestyle. And that's totally fine. I respect that. This guy says $1,000 a day is not uncommon for private jet instruction. That's true. I usually charge $1,000 a day if I'm using single engine piston work, but I typically don't charge for time, and a day is technically still time. This guy says, I don't know how much instruction someone with a CE 500 SIC type only is able to provide. Great point. I don't have an SIC only type rating on the citation. I have a PIC type rating. It does say SIC required, so I'm required to have a co-pilot, but there are provisions that make it legal for me to give instruction in the citation with SIC required on my certificate. But that's not the point of this conversation. This guy here says, he has said before that he basically just gets the right clients, aka rich people, that don't give a darn about the cost. That's one great way to get clients, is find high value clients. Price yourself based on your client, not based on you. I wonder if everyone gets charged the same, or it's a movable scale based on how rich he thinks his student is. I have a hard time believing that all his students are multimillionaires who just got their brand new Bonanza off factory floor. This is true. This is a very good point. I don't charge every client the same. I charge clients based on their specific situation and what they're trying to get out of it. What is valuable to them? I want them to take it seriously. If I charge $20,000 for a private pilot certificate for a 17-year-old kid in a 150, he's probably going to think that's too expensive. That's not worth it to me, and leave. If I charge $20,000 to a guy in a brand new Cirrus, he's like, that sounds about right. That's a good high ticket. I can trust this guy. Let's go with it. And that happens all the time. Sammy here says, yeah, I'm not sure. He said something along the lines of it being completely attainable if you find the right clients. Yeah, find the right clients. You can do it. No problem. Here's an interesting comment. I think this is the same guy who did a video recently with Dan Greider's son, who is working on his PPL. That was me, yes. They ran through some scenarios from Dan's AQP for GA list. Regardless of how anyone feels about Dan, he makes good points about scenario-based training. I was a little surprised at how cold and unhelpful the CFI was in the video. That's me, by the way. I didn't see much in the way of helpful instruction at all, and I wouldn't want to work with him as a student, even at regular market rates. Greider's son did a great job, though, I thought. I'm working on my CFI right now and found it to be helpful to watch through the lens of how I would handle this as an instructor. This is actually a very good point, and I'm going to break this down real quick right now. The flight I did with Dylan Greider, who is a friend of mine, was not meant to be an instructional flight. It was meant to be more of an evaluation flight. I was supposed to sit there, be quiet, tell him what to do, and then watch him do it. And that was it. I'll give you scenarios here and here, and you can deal with them. It was not meant to be a highly instructional flight. I was very stoic about it, and that's fine, but it was not meant to be a heavy instruction flight. I'm a fly on the wall. I'm not supposed to be giving him all this information right now. I did give him some tips, though. It was pretty cool. I'm sorry if you feel that way about that video, but the intention was to not really do anything. It's really important to wrap your instruction around the type of flight that you're doing. There's some more comments here. I hate this Toby guy even more. He's also not that great of a flight instructor. Sorry you feel that way, but I'm not really worried about it. This guy here says, good CFIs are worth their weight in gold, but the ones I've got are worth twice their weight in platinum. Very nice thing to say about your flight instructor. Good on you, bro. That said, that guy, he's talking about me, isn't being so honest. I'm pretty sure that what he's doing is using free content to build a following. Then he does charge those he can funnel to his free CFI roadmap consulting, which will lead to a growth in followers. So before I read the rest of this comment, I'm going to break this down. Yes, I use free content to build a following. Yes, I funnel people into my program to see, are they going to be a good fit to work with me to help them solve their problems? That's absolutely true. However, the course is not free, and at no point do I say my course is free. My videos are free. The free content on YouTube and Instagram, 100% free. I never say that my consulting is free. I will give one free call on Zoom. Let's see if we're a good fit. We can work together. But I don't give free consulting. And that's just simply not true. This guy in this comment does not know what he's talking about here. Not an insult on his integrity or character. He's just ignorant in this particular case. I hold nothing against him. Continuing with the comment, his claims of super high pay and absurd discovery flight fees get people to talk about him, which leads to more growth in followers. It's hilarious. That's not the point of that, by the way. It's because I want to get paid more. So that's fine. You made a post about him and how ludicrous his structure is. But even if a few people follow him, even just to watch and see what he's up to, that's a few more subs. And a larger sub count does make others think there's a higher demand for his time, which will increase his chance of finding people willing to pay $350 for a discovery flight. That's hilarious. Let's just break down $350. That's actually not that much for a discovery flight if you think about it. The airplane is $150 an hour and you fly for an hour. That's going to be $300 if the CFI is $100 an hour. And then you've got another $100 left for the CFI for ground. That's actually not bad for an hour flight plus an hour briefing. Doesn't matter. That's what I charge. You can pay it if you want. You don't have to. But continue with the comment. The best thing to do is ignore him. Just click away and move on. You do what you do. If you don't like what I got to say, that's totally fine, man. I'm not here to please everybody. This guy says, I do know of CFIs making $10K per month. It talks about he had a CFI specializing in IFR finish-up programs. One student a week, 6,000 down in his own plane. Yeah, this is definitely possible. This guy found the niche and worked with it and made money off of it. This guy here says, like everyone in life, there will always be that one dude that fits a mold to make a point. We all know that this isn't the norm. Your average flight instructor is closer to food stamps than regional captain pay. I've made pretty close to $10K a month from flight instructing, but it was all warbird, aerobatic, and transition training. The guy pumping out PPLs and instrument ratings is not going to come close to that. This guy's got a good point. This is a situation where if you do certain things from a business standpoint and get good at stuff, people can pay you to work with them. This is really something that any good CFI can do if they have the right mindset, they have a good niche, and they know what they want to do with it. So it's not unattainable. He's correct when he says that the average flight instructor is closer to food stamps. That's why I'm trying to help him out. He made close to $10K a month from instructing in warbirds and transitions and aerobatics. He found the niche and worked with it. Again, he's literally proving my point. However, when he says that the guy that's doing privates and instruments is not making money, that's not quite true. If you do privates and instruments in owners' airplanes, specific niche, specific aircraft types, you can make this kind of money. Don't just try to work with everybody. Work with a specific type of client and you will make the money and you will help them solve their problems. This guy says he bought the followers for sure. This guy here asks, what is a master CFI? I've been flying for a while, never heard of it. The one guy says that NAFI does it. That's true. NAFI does have a master CFI program. However, I use the master CFI program from SAFE, Society of Aviation and Flight Educators, which is masterinstructors.org. That's who accredited me. This next guy here says, I'm in Middle Tennessee, which is where I live, and know a few people that have interacted with him, blowing a lot of smoke. Not sure why anyone is a FedEx captain when you could follow his plan. He's also buddy-buddy with Dan. Assume he gets rich Nashville guys to fall for his $30K PPL due to the schools closer to town and getting busier. I don't blow smoke. I am Middle Tennessee. If you want to be a FedEx captain, be a FedEx captain. That's fine. Dan Greider, he's a friend of mine. You either love him or you hate him. I love him. That's it. You don't have to like Dan Greider. Just because you don't like Dan Greider does not mean anything against me. I'm here to help save lives, make people money, and bring a good impact on society. I can be friends with who I want to be friends with. And as far as rich Nashville guys falling for my $30K PPL, if there's someone who values that, they're going to pay. They're happy. I'm happy. What's the problem? Moving down here, this guy says $200 for an hour-long introductory lesson on a BATD. If I'm going to sit there for 2 hours, I'm going to get paid, and I'm basically throwing the sim in for free, so I don't see a problem with that. This comment here says, I also find it odd that Toby Rice doesn't appear in the database. Toby is my nickname. If you're running a professional flight training organization as Master CFI, why wouldn't you have your actual name on it? If your name is Thomas or Tom, Matthew or Matt, Bill or William, doesn't matter. If you need to look up Tobias Rice in the FAA registry, go ahead and look it up. This guy down here says, I ran into this guy at Oshkosh at the NAFI booth. I wonder when, because I typically don't go to the NAFI booth. I'm not sure if he's just mistook that or something, but that's fine. He says, definitely a multi-level marketing vibe. I think he said that he gets 17 grand for an instrument rating, not including the plane, which is true. I have gotten that before. He probably has some mosquito-free land in the Everglades for sale too. That's hilarious. Hey, people will pay it and I'll help them. I will provide top tier instruction to get them where they got to go. My philosophy is very simple. If you ask for premium pay, you better dish out premium service. And that's what I do. This fella at the bottom here says, I am 2 people removed from him, and he is absolutely an honest, trustworthy, and hardworking young man. Hey, I appreciate that. So that's basically all the comments that I can see on here. This has been a bit of a longer video, and I'm going to split some of this up and put it on Instagram to keep that crowd entertained. I'm going to put a link to this post in the description below. You guys can go read on it, comment, do what you want with it. Guys, it's a mindset thing. There's so many false beliefs and mindset problems in the post, in the comments. It's really just disturbing because I'm not here to be a multi-level marketing scheme. I'm not here to preach prosperity gospel. I'm not here to scam people out of their money. I am here to keep pilots alive. The best way I can do that is to make great instructors, but for instructors to be great, they also have to be incentivized to be great. And the best way to do that is to teach them how to run business. I am a business guy. I happen to be a flight instructor. If you don't want to do the kind of stuff that I'm doing, if you want to keep charging hourly for flight instruction, making pennies on the dollar, selling your time for money, always being broke, that's fine. It's not a character flaw, but I am saying they're ripping themselves off for being good. And if you don't want that, then you should consider the way I'm doing things. If you're one of the guys that enjoys what I have to say and wants me to help you out, I'll be more than happy to have a sit-down meeting with you. Go to the link in the description below. You're going to see a calendar link to book a call with my team. We'll get with you, figure out your problems, see what we can do to help you, and just get you going. We'll see you.